Welcome back to SC Classics on this cold Thursday night. So this video is going to be a little update on Nora. It's now Thursday. I've been chipping away at little bits and pieces, well, other jobs in the workshop, but mainly chipping away at jobs on Nora because tomorrow is D-Day. Well, that's what you mean by D-Day. It's actually rolling road day. It's getting collected at 8:30 in the morning and going to mechanics for rolling road tuning. So I'm just been working my way through the jobs, making sure it's ready to go. It's lots of little loose ends there to tie up before it's gonna go really. So tonight is just last few jobs. I've just put a load of fuel in it, a load of E5. Always put E5 in your classics, none of this E10 malarkey. Kills all your fuel lines and diaphragms and all that stuff. So E5 always for me, super unleaded. Yeah, just been, like I say, spanner checking everything underneath, a few little niggles. There was a little oil leak on the oil pressure pipe, so nipped that up. Noticed there was a couple of little drips, not drips, just a misting running out one of the fittings on the caliper, the Wilwood calipers. So nip them up again. That'll need I want to re-bleed the brakes anyway, but now that sort of cements it really. There's obviously been, if it's been letting fluid out, it's possibly been letting air in, so they'll need re-bleeding. The exhaust had a slight blow on both joints, typical Sportex exhaust. So just removed the exhaust, cleaned the joints up, exhaust paste, refitted it, tightened it up, and also I've got the rear exhaust rubber on, but I was struggling with the one in front of the axle, so managed to sort that out. So the exhaust's on, secure, no blowing. Yeah, just lots of little loose ends, you know, little niggles, little the snagging, if you like. But been chipping away at it this week. But I'll show you it anyway. Something I've done is I've done a blowing on the rear quarter. Got that flattened and buffed. Can't really see because I'm smack up against the wall here. But done a blowing. There was a bit of damage on the rear quarter here. Something, I think it was when the car was transported down to me. There was lots of parts in the boot, and it looked like something had shifted and knocked the rear quarter and cracked it. And I did try touching up with paint and flattening and buffing, but I flatted straight through to primer. So I ended up repairing it, doing a blowing on the rear quarter, stripes on, and you'll notice that it's got the RS2000 decal on the rear quarter. Even though this being a late car shouldn't have it, should be only on broad stripe cars. I did put it to the customer, give him the option because it's his car. For me, I wouldn't have put them on. I like them, but it's not original. I'm a bit of a stickler for that, which on this car doesn't really matter because it's a base model, and as we all know, there's lots of things that have been changed on this that aren't base model. But anyway, I wouldn't have put them on. But that said, it's not my car. It's Dale's car, it's Dale's choice, so I have to go with what the customer says, and they look good. They break it up. But yeah, it's his choice, he decides to. So this side is completely striped, RS decal on, all done. Passenger side is the rear quarter stripe, the RS2000 decals on. I've still got to tweak the door, this door's not shut proper. I've still got to tweak the gaps on the door on the passenger side because I'm not happy with them. Hope I can get them a bit better. The problem I've got is they've had door skins on and they don't fit very well. And as you can see, it's not too bad there. It's sticking out at the top. It's sticking out at the bottom. It's nice in the middle. But on the front, if my gimbal wakes up, you can see it's just down a fraction. It's not much, but you can see it, and I don't want to stripe it until that's better. The problem I've got is at the bottom here, it is very close. I'm surprised it's not touching already, and I'm worried if I lift this door up, this is going to start touching. So I don't know, I'm stuck. This is the joys of building someone else's restored shell. because something's not right. I don't know whether the wing's too far back or whether it's just because it's a bad copy door skin, or I don't know, but that's what I'm up against. So I've been putting this off. I really need to do it, but I've been concentrating on the mechanicals because that's more important for the rolling road than having some stripes on. So the stripes can wait till it comes back. Something I did need to do was fit excuse me, clear my throat, a breather. Now this isn't it's not staying here, but because this car is running the IDFs, it doesn't have a takeoff for the PCV or crankcase breather, so it has to vent to somewhere. So what I've done for the time being, it's venting to here. I'm going to try and find somewhere a bit more discreet because I hate these things on show, but obviously they have to be functional as well. So when that comes back, I'll find somewhere permanent for that, which looks better, or hidden. Just under the bonnet, it was just little things, checking levels, making sure things were tight, put a battery clamp in, you know, just all the things, excuse me, to make it safe for transport and safe for the rolling road. And I'm not far off done now. What I want to do is pull the front wheels off. I've got to fit the grease caps. I know it doesn't need them for the rolling road, but then I can torque the wheels up and they're done. You shouldn't have to come back off. Same on the back, retorque the wheels, make sure I'm happy with them, check tyre pressures. I think I'd have to check my list, but I think that is pretty much it. Then it's ready to go to the rolling road. It's running, starting up all right, everything's good. So yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to make. It's as far as I'm aware, it's just a rebuilt pin, so I know it's got a standard camming because I've had the rocker cover off it, 4-branch manifold, and twin box Sportex exhaust, 44 IDFs, and a H&H ignition. So I'm gonna, I don't know, I think it's an RS2000 standard, 105, something like that. I'm gonna say 120, 130. I may be way off, but anyway, that's a guess. But as long as it comes back and it's running nice and it's happy, it doesn't, to be fair, it runs pretty good now. It just needs that, you know, that fine tuning just to make it spot on. But that's it for the time being. I'll get an update when it comes back. And on the next one, there's another debate going on with this car, and it's another thing like the rear quarter. I'll have to speak to the owner about the sills. As we know, any RS2000 Mexico owner will know the sills should be black. I did spot the tank well, not the tank well, the spur wheel well. Again, as we know, the tank well shouldn't be black, but the spur wheel well, if my camera wakes up, there we go, the spur wheel well should be black. Also, the sills should be black. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to speak with Dale, the owner, and see what he wants to do. Again, it's his car. He might have chose not to, because all the black was done in this car when it comes to me. For me, it was done in the wrong black, but it was done. So he may have chose not to have the black sills. It might be his preference, I don't know. But I'll leave it up to Dale. I'll speak to him. It's no problem at all, scotching them down and painting them black. I'd prefer to do them just because it looks a bit more authentic. I think it just finishes the car off. But ultimately, it's up to Dale. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'll get some. I'll be able to do a test drive when it actually comes back. I have done a little test drive, but we're not running so good. I wasn't particularly happy going very far in it, so fingers crossed it should be back tomorrow afternoon and be able to have a little drive in it. We'll see. What will you make, little Pinto? I'm gonna say 123. No, 128. I'm going with 128. We'll see. I'll just quickly go through the list on what's actually left to do on this car to finish it. As you can see, well, you can't see this, a couple of pages, but there's not a lot. Rebleed the brakes, as we spoke about, tracking, torque the wheels. There's some wiring on the inner wing, which just wants tidying up a little bit. The grommets weren't pushing through the inner wing, but the grommets are aftermarket ones, so they don't quite fit. So I'm not sure what I'll have to do with that, but I'll work something out. It says look at the rear brakes. Now I think it's just with having an LSD in and stuff, they sound a little bit noisy on the back end when I was like going quite tight lock. So I'll whip the back wheels off when it comes back and have a look at them. It might just be the handbrake once adjusted a bit and it was binding. Stripes, as you can see, I've already done most of them. It's just the driver's passenger door and wing to finish. Adjust the doors, well, done the driver's, passenger needs finishing. Roof aerial's a bit of a problem because the base that's on the roof is the original one for the car, or the original one that was fitted on the car years ago, and he appears to have lost the piece that screws into it, so he sent me another piece down to screw into it, which is nothing like, so it isn't going to work. So I'm not sure what to do on that. I'll work something out. Paint seat runners. I fitted the seats and the seat runners were quite crusty, and someone picked up on it in one of the videos and shamed me into it, so I'll be pulling the seats out and repainting the seat runners, make it look pretty. Secure the driver's door card. No matter what I do here, it's going to have to be some sort of bodge, or it's not going to be as Ford intended, because someone had kindly, the doors aren't original for the car, and someone had kindly hole punched a lot of holes in the door to make it lighter, but they did it exactly where the fixings are for the bottom of the door card, mainly at the front. There is a few at the back, but yeah, so the bottom of the door card where the speaker is at the minute isn't secured, so I'm gonna have to come up with some way of securing it. Not sure how, but needs sorting. Fit the driver's underdash tray, nice straightforward job. I just left it out because I had to adjust the driver's door so it can go in now. A couple of grommets in the boot floor and fit the boot carpet, nice and easy. Air filters, yet to decide what it's having. I'll probably have to speak to Dale on that and see what he prefers. I think he'll probably just end up going with a couple of K&M filters. Tidy the wiring. That is, I've already mentioned that. There's the headlight looms and the indicator looms where they come through the inner wing. They haven't got the original grommets on them, so they just don't want to fit into the looms go through, but the grommets don't want to fit. So I'll have to work out what I'm going to do with that to make it work. VIN and build tags. Well, the VIN tag's already fitted. The build tag I've prepped, put in etch primer. It just needs to go in colour and fit. Battery terminals. I want to swap the battery terminals for something a bit prettier. I just put them ones on it to get it running, and yeah, just put something a bit nicer on there. I hate the battery terminals because it's a round terminal battery and you have to put them little conversion ones on, and yeah, no matter what you do, they look crap. Oil pressure pipe grommet, aftermarket grommet, doesn't fit in the bulkhead, surprise surprise, so I'm gonna have to trim it, or I'm not sure, don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'll have to fix it. It needs sorting, and the clutch cable needs securing, because any RS owner will know that it usually has a little bracket that bolts to the steering rack mount and stops the clutch cable pushing up against the steering knuckle, so that needs addressing. And then obviously a big clean up, a good polish, MOT, and put some miles on it, shake it down, make sure it's all good. So yeah, we're getting there. There's not a lot left, so the end is very close for this one. I'm looking forward to Dale coming to see it for the first time, because this is a build, this is the first build I've ever done where the customer has never seen the car. He's actually never been once. He's asked me not to send him any pictures, not to put pictures on Facebook. So yeah, this is going to be an odd one. I've never had this situation before. I hope he's happy. I think he will. I think he will be, but we'll see. Well, there's nothing like a little bit of a last minute disaster. Well, possibly a disaster avoided. So my last job before I was going to go home was torque the wheel nuts, and I'd forgot about the rear wheels having not very many threads, because John Brown wheels, and yeah, anyway, there's not many threads. Torque the front's fine, they torqued up. Come to torque the backs, and it doesn't feel, I can't get the torque rates to click, I think, anymore. It's going to start stripping threads because there's not many threads to bite. So luckily, I've got 8 slightly longer studs. I'll give them a clean up, can't focus on them. So it's now, what time is it? 20 to 10 at night, and I'm ripping the back wheels off and swapping wheel studs quick because I can't risk it going on a dyno and losing a wheel. So let's get to it. So there's one side done. One stud's in, just knock the old ones out. You see the height difference? So there's the originals and there's the ones that I'm fitting. Quite a bit different. A bit more length, I don't know if you could see, but yeah, these are picking up on, honestly, they was picking up on like the last 3 or 4 threads, so I don't think they would have lasted. I know someone in one of the videos said they'd been running the same wheel nut combo for 2 years without a problem, but yeah, I was pretty sure it was like, that's the only thread it had. So that would have been half a wheel nut. So yeah, I wouldn't have been comfortable sending it out. Well, sending it to the rolling road just in case it lost a wheel on a dyno and damaged the car. Even more so going it back to the customer that way. So yeah, luckily I remembered. So that's one side done. Just pop the drum back on. Try the wheel nut, make sure the wheel nuts aren't bottoming out because they are closed wheel nuts, but they are quite deep. So fingers crossed they fit without having to chop the studs down, but we will see. So there we have it. Rear wheel studs changed, wheels torqued up, nice and tight, all done. Now there was an issue because, just as a thought, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but because it was only pulling on 4 threads, it had actually started pulling the threads out on 3 of the wheel nuts. So then when I tried fitting these to the longer studs, the 4 threads that had started pulling obviously didn't line up with the rest of the threads, so I couldn't actually get them on. So tried running my thread cleaner down there, and as you can see, it snapped my thread cleaner. Luckily I had a couple of spare wheel nuts, so I managed to get the rear wheels torqued up. You can see it better on that one. Yeah, basically it started pulling the first 4 threads, so then they don't line up with the original ones. So they'd screw on about 4 threads, and then that was it, lock up. So they're actually knackered. So that's it. I have actually pinched one wheel nut off the front, so I am going to have to order another one. But for the time being, the rear wheels are torqued up. The fronts aren't as critical while it's on the dyno, but it will be something that needs to be addressed before the car leaves. So to the guy who said he's been running his car for a couple of years, you might want to try checking your wheel nuts, because like I say, these are damaged. If you try winding them onto a longer thread, you'll probably find that they'll only go on about 4 threads. So yeah, good job I did change them. It could have been a disaster on the dyno. Well, that's it for tonight. I am going home, I've had enough. All loaded up with Mike, on its way to mechanics. So it's Saturday and Nora's been away, off to mechanics, and it's tuning, all set up, running nice now. The only issue we found was a slight leak on the rocker cover, which just blew a bit of oil back on the bulkhead there, which needs cleaning up. He also said the tappets need a tweak, so I will get the rocker cover off, adjust the tappets, and put a new rocker cover gasket on, and that should be it. All back back to it. Gimbal messed up. So I did predict, I think I predicted 128, and it actually made 137.2, 148 pound-foot of torque. So pretty good power. Spoke to Dale, the owner, and he's over the moon with it. He was expecting about 110, 120, so a big leap. So yeah, he's happy. So that's all that matters. Customer's happy, car runs good, it survived. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next update, which will be the final update for Nora, the completed car, ready to go back to the owner. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. See you next time.